What's up, Reapers? My name's Seth, and we are back here with some more Trove, and today we're going to be talking about the new event that we got going on. It's a particularly easy one, honestly speaking, if you actually know what you're farming for. The Song of Petallura. I swear these event names get weirder and weirder every time they end up coming out, but apparently spring has arrived. It's a little bit late, and we're going to be helping the Dragon of Spring usher in the new season. AKA, we're going to help this little chicken dude. So I guess he's considered a dragon as far as Trove's lore is concerned. I don't know. But anyways, before we get started, I would appreciate if you would hit that like button. Makes the video show up in searches. Or does it? Honestly speaking, YouTube keeps changing their, what all of the buttons do. I don't know if it does anything anymore, does it? So the first part of the quest has you collecting 60 sunlight bulbs, and is a little bit more difficult than you would think, for the simple fact that if you go into any other world, like this right here, I'm just in a permafrost world, just kind of roaming around in a peaceful hills biome, looking for that sunlight bulb dungeon, but wait, what's this? It's not actually spawning. I don't see any of them in sight. It's not going to spawn in the medieval highlands or anything like that. Near as I can tell, the only way that you're going to be able to even find the sunlight bulb dungeon is at U7 and higher. I know that's a little bit weird, especially for starting players to be so inaccessible at actually getting at this quest. Now, I could be wrong about that, honestly speaking. I didn't go through every single different type of world to see whether or not none of them generate with the sunlight bulb dungeon, but I'm pretty confident that if you just go to U7 and up, because U7, of course, is going to end up generating all the different biomes, and thus it generates all the different types of dungeons and stuff like that, then at least that's the guarantee, right? So you're going to go for this dungeon. I'm going to insert some footage. You're going for the sunlight bulb dungeon. You just wander around on it. You're going to be able to get the sunlight bulbs fairly easily, and you're going to end up getting 10 chaos chests for that one. Next part of the quest has you crafting some grass seeds. So you're going to craft those, very simply put, with the sunlight bulbs that you just ended up getting, because that's the nice thing about these quests that they end up doing, is they give you just the right amount of resources for you to end up crafting the items that you need. So let me just hop on over to the hub here and come down into here, and then you're just going to be going for a gardening bench. Thankfully, it's not like some of the more recent quests where we've had to mess with some of the higher tiers in the different professions. With this one, it's just right here, grass seeds, and you're crafting 5 each. So all you need to do is craft 3 of them. 2, 4, 6. That's going to be all the sunlight bulbs that you just found, and you're going to get an easy 10 dragon coins from that. Now, the next part of the event, I completely forgot to take a screenshot of, but you're going to have to actually plant those 15 grass seeds. So you just go around planting them in your club world and stuff like that. And, you know, grass seeds are really, really nice. They make the area look a little bit more lively and beautiful. And you're going to end up getting 3 empowered gem boxes from that, so that's super duper easy peasy, right? Now we start getting into the more difficult parts of the quest, which is to defeat 50 Yetis in the permafrost. Now, while I can confirm that you can very, very, very rarely find the Yetis actually in the permafrost adventure world, which is weird that the quest actually mentions that you go to a permafrost adventure world, you know, because this world kind of sucks. Like, it doesn't really have the Yetis as you would think. So again, you're going to end up going for U7 if you can, because that's going to end up generating all the different types of biomes. And for some weird reason, when it's in a higher tiered adventure world, you're going to actually see the Yetis just spawning left and right, just as normal enemy types. So I'm going to insert some footage of what it was like when I was in U7. You can just find them all over the place. Also, the dungeon that you're going to be looking out for is the giant mammoth dungeon. I didn't actually find one, but if you do actually find one of those dungeons, it's going to be a kill 30 enemy dungeon, and you can get at least the first 30 enemies off of that dungeon are going to be Yetis, and they're going to count towards the quest. And then you just got to go out exploring a little bit more to end up finding them, right? But you're going to end up getting a sentience shard for that one. So that's actually a pretty good price, pretty good prize, I mean. But ultimately, yeah, that one was a little bit confusing because I was in a permafrost world, and I was in there for like half an hour before I realized, oh, I should just go to a higher tiered world. So up next, we have to complete club adventures. So let's hop right back into the club world. Is anybody else noticing that the loading time is horrendous since Trove Heroes? Like, is it just me? I don't know what's going on with it. It takes like 50 years to load your player. But anyways, all you're going to be doing is just looking for a club world, any club world. It doesn't even have to be like your main or anything like that. But the Rally of Heroes Blade, right? So you're going to be using this to go and grab quests from all of these idiots. And honestly, I would recommend, oh my gosh, except if they're all asleep, I would recommend you do a quest that has you kill 10 dungeon bosses, because that generally is going to end up being the fastest of all of the quests now, because killing 300 enemies is just an absolute joke now that you can't do the kill 30 enemies over and over. But I don't know. I mean, it's up to you. Just pick a quest that you want to do, and then there you go. You just got to complete 2 of them, and then you're going to get 25 Diamond Dragonite for that, so that's pretty good. And then you have to, on top of that, defeat dungeon bosses in the Fae Forest. So you're going to have to go to a Fae Wilds world and defeat 25 different dungeon bosses. Yeah, so I would stick to 3-star dungeons if you ever see them, because 3-star dungeons obviously are going to end up having 3, sometimes more bosses that you can end up completing towards the entire quest. And then otherwise, you know, it's going to be really easy because it's U1, and generally speaking, you're just going to want to hang out in there, and you're going to end up getting 3 gem booster boxes for completing that part of the quest, which a little bit lackluster, honestly speaking, considering that it's 25 dungeons completion and you're getting 3 gem booster boxes. Like, I still find it funny how the developers seem to think that the gem booster boxes are like a coveted item when they're really, really bad, actually. And then you have to collect 40 mushroom parts. Now, at this point in the quest, you can actually just go back to a Medieval Highlands. And honestly, I would recommend that you go to a Medieval Highlands for the next 2 parts of the quest as well. I'll explain in a little bit. But what you're going to be doing, I'll insert some footage, just finding these mushroom enemies and killing them. They're going to end up giving you mushroom chunks. Or you're going to be able to find these mushroom plants out in the world. And, you know, just stomping over them is going to end up giving you the resource as well. Unless you just happen to have a bunch of them crafted that you want to throw down in your club world or something like that, then you can go ahead and just do it that way. But oddly enough, even though it's a collection quest, you can't actually just buy them out of the player market and end up completing the quest that way. But you're going to get a despoiled divinity from that one, so that's pretty good. And then you have to mine some cinnabar. Now, this is why you want to be in the Medieval Highlands, because Medieval Highlands, in fact, every different world, for some weird reason, can actually end up generating with Forbidden Spires. Forbidden Spires is supposed to only be at U6, at least as far as just the normal world's adventures are supposed to go. But the developers specifically stated a while back that they made it so that the Forbidden Spires spawns everywhere, which is really inconsistent and weird because they know that most players quit this game before they end up getting past U3. Yeah, so that's kind of sad that they ended up doing that. But in either case, it makes it easier for this type of quest because then you just move right on into a Forbidden Spires biome nearby and just look for the big red ore. You know, I've got separate videos that specifically talk about the ore itself and how you can end up finding it. But otherwise, it's not really going to be that much difficulty. And you're going to end up actually getting a Builder's Superior Focus from this. So that's actually pretty good for a reward of just finding 50 cinnabar. And then up next, we've got Go Fishing in the Forbidden Spires, and you have to catch 20 fish. Now, in the odd chance that you're still in that adventure world and you end up finding some water, I'll insert some footage of what the dungeon looks like that you can look like for just getting water in Forbidden Spires, but generally speaking, you can just find water out in the biome randomly as well. What you can end up doing, though, if you don't want to end up losing your spot in that world, is type /get_world_ID. One word, all right? And then it's automatically going to end up copying the world ID to your clipboard. So then all you need to do is type /go_to_world space and then just paste the world ID that you've seen right there. And that's going to be how you can actually go right back to that world so long as it's still generated and you didn't leave for too long. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, folks, is that if you're like me and you didn't have any fishing lures, you're going to want to come to the hub. Come to this idiot right here, buy at least, you know, over 20 fishing lures. You're gonna, unfortunate, well, I guess you don't really have to. You just buy 20 fishing lures. It doesn't matter. I just bought like 30 of them because I didn't care. And then you just go to world, use the world ID, and then there you go. You can just go right back to the spot that you were in. And then upon completing this part of the quest, you're going to be able to get yourselves the itty bitty chick ally, which it's weird that this one actually isn't even designed by the developers. Like, it's a little bit weird here. Let me actually see. I got to type really, really slow. Otherwise, for some weird reason, my game ends up crashing. But this was actually made by Skyrider3217, which, you know, nothing against the modder for actually making this cute little ally, like seriously, but I do find it very strange that the developers are starting to using mod created content for these events. And what I mean by it being strange is they've never done that before. Personally speaking, I think that it's great. I think that they should actually do that from now on. I think that it's a lot better, and this is my own opinion towards like modded items in general. I think that it's a lot better for a modded item to be available for everybody for free, rather than in most cases you'll have a modded item that ends up coming into the game later and becoming an extremely difficult item to end up getting. Sorry about that. Jub was going absolutely bonkers for no reason whatsoever. The wind blew past her ears and she's like, "Who's there?" So anyways, as you end up, you know, as these items end up getting added to the game, and sometimes they'll end up being an extremely difficult way of actually attaining the item, the modders themselves end up getting the items for free, and they end up getting some extra codes that they can either give away to a select few group of people, or they can actually just sell it to players, but usually it'll end up being, you know, a little bit convoluted where they try to just sell it to the same old people over and over. But I'm just trying to say that my point being, I really hope that they end up doing this into the future, where they end up taking these mod-made items and putting them into quest events, because then if everybody has access to it, it means more people are going to be able to enjoy these items that the modders ended up creating. Not to mention, it means that we can actually see some more premium items that aren't just going to end up being one color, you know, because most of the items that the devs end up making are just very, very simple and straight to the point. So anyways, out of this entire quest, you're just going to be getting this ally, which is 10 mastery points. Yuck. But it is going to be a pretty decent ally with 50 magic find, 15 energy regen, and 7 superstition, which is a useless stat. It's a joke stat. It doesn't actually do anything. Compare that to, if I can type it in nice and slow so my game doesn't crash, Cotton Candy right here, which just gives 50 magic find. So it's cool that we actually got a magic find ally that compares, if not is just better overall, to Cotton Candy. I mean, that said, you know, we had the Hydra ally, but still. Seriously, that loading time took like a whole minute. What is wrong with this game? Any case though, folks, that's already it. So thank you so much for watching. Very much appreciated. Sorry that I haven't done any live streams recently. I've been extremely busy. I have some videos that are going to talk about it, you know, more recently. But in either case, I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and I hope that you found it helpful, because even though this event is quite straightforward, I did find that it was a little bit, you know, a little bit confusing if you don't know what you're doing. And, you know, thankfully I had a lot of help from other people to end up figuring all this stuff out. But either way, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe for more daily content. And if you want to support me, you can always sponsor my YouTube channel or check links in the description for my merch store, as well as Gawkbox, which is a way you can donate to me for free. Sign on and stay epic, everybody.